I want to share with you a very bold statement about language learning. It says, the reason that we're not good at a foreign language is not because we're clumsy or stupid. Maybe just because we're too smart. That sounds very baroque and peculiar, and even odd. So I'm gonna explain that to you a little bit. There's a theory called the critical period hypothesis in linguistics, which implies that there is a critical period in our language learning, and this is the time that we might acquire language most effortlessly and without an accent, with a very good command of this language like a native speaker. And it usually starts when we're infants till the time that we hit puberty. So that is the time that we have a very high level of neuroplasticity that actually enables us to get a language quite easily. And even you don't realize the very process. I mean, just think about the very process that you get your first language, maybe Chinese, maybe English. So it's quite easy, isn't it? But nobody, or hardly anybody thinks about scenario reasons behind that. So to me, I think there is a very interesting reason to be noticed, which is we have something called naming system in our culture, right? And this naming system is actually a very process by which we understand the different elements in our world and culture. This is the book, this is a pair of glasses, and this is a can, this is a bottle of water, stuff like that. In primary school and in kindergarten, before middle school, fundamentally, we're actually constructing the very elements of this language, our first language, in order to help us to study something further and more advanced. And we're every day in the very process of making it better, refining it, honing on how we get better, even subconsciously. But after this very process, when we hit puberty, when we get to high school, when we have a lot of work to do in geography, history, politics, and we have a higher demand to get good grades, the mission of learning new languages just fall by the wayside. Because your brain's very smart. It will tell you. It doesn't make sense to you. And there's a lot of ways for you to get new information. Why bother learning a new language if you can just use your first language as the very tool, an instrument, to get new sources of information? And why bother to learn a new language if it doesn't serve you any purposes? So the problem here, I think, is that you treat English or any other languages that you're learning as the intermediate structure by which you get something other than that. So I want to learn English. Why? Because I want to get good grades. I want to learn Cantonese. Why? Because I want to show off. So there's always something behind that very motive. Can't learning a language be a purpose by itself? So an experience that might support this argument is that I've had a language exchange with a friend of mine for about 10 months so far. So he's born and raised in Australia, but his family were from Hong Kong. So at home they would speak Cantonese, but of course his educational language is English. So he's sort of bilingual, and I'm also bilingual. So we kind of do the language exchange because I was keen to learn Cantonese and he was keen to learn Mandarin. But I got asked at one point by one of my friends. He said, why is he doing this? Like a man in his 30s who's got a family, a job, why is he having the time and energy and passion and purpose for learning a language? And I was just getting stuck. I don't know what to answer because it seems a very odd question to me. But I think me and my friend, we're on the same page here. The reason we are learning it is just because it's great fun, right? So I think if you really want to be good at learning languages or any other stuff, I think it needs to be natural, in the most natural form, and it needs to be the very purpose by itself. Just like what Carl Jung says, because I was reading his autobiography the other day. The first sentence actually of that autobiography is that my entire life is a very process that I achieve and accomplish my subconsciousness. So the purpose of your life is lying with you, learning a language or doing any other thing is just like the purpose of that is lying within itself, and only by doing that can you find the meaning behind that, and it will just make you sparkle like a star. So that's my make of that. I hope that's helpful, and happy Chinese New Year, happy Valentine's Day, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and repost. Thank you very much. See you next time.